Donald Trump's return to the White House could reshape global markets, and Bitcoin might just be one of the biggest beneficiaries. We've seen what happened in his last term: tax cuts, deregulation, and a market that absolutely exploded. But this time around, there's a new player in the game: Bitcoin. Could Bitcoin skyrocket to $150,000 under his presidency? Let's break it down. Now you might be thinking, didn't Trump call Bitcoin a scam a few years ago? Yeah, he did. But here's the thing: things change. The political landscape is different, Bitcoin is different, and frankly, Trump is different. Back then, Bitcoin was this obscure thing only tech geeks were talking about. Now it's mainstream. Everyone from your grandma to Wall Street giants is dipping their toes into crypto. And let's not forget, Trump is all about business. If there's money to be made, you know he's going to be all over it. His entire economic agenda revolves around boosting businesses. And that means creating an environment where investments can flourish. Historically, when the stock market is doing well, money flows into alternative assets like real estate and Bitcoin. Plus, Trump has always been a fan of low interest rates. He's been very vocal about his criticism of the Federal Reserve in the past. If he pushes for a more dovish Fed, it could weaken the US dollar. And when the dollar weakens, guess what looks really good? You got it, Bitcoin. Let's be real, inflation is eating away at our purchasing power every single day. The price of everything from groceries to gas seems to be going up. And under a Trump presidency, we might see even more government spending. Think infrastructure projects, tax cuts, you name it. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it could lead to more dollars being printed. And when you print more money, guess what happens? The value of each individual dollar goes down. It's basic economics. But here's the kicker: Bitcoin is designed to be deflationary. There's a limited supply and it's only getting smaller over time. So as more money floods the system and inflation rises, Bitcoin becomes even more attractive as a store of value. It's like the digital gold rush all over again. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? People flocked to gold because they were scared about the economy. Bitcoin could easily play that same role in the coming years, especially if Trump's policies lead to more economic uncertainty. Now let's talk about the big dogs institutions. We're talking hedge funds, investment banks, even pension funds. These guys control trillions of dollars, and they're finally starting to take Bitcoin seriously. Just look at what happened with MicroStrategy and Tesla. They've poured billions into Bitcoin, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. As more and more institutions jump on board, it's going to create a massive wave of demand for Bitcoin. And guess what happens when demand goes up and supply stays the same? The price skyrockets. We're talking potentially life-changing gains for early adopters. And the best part is, it's only getting easier for everyday investors to get in on the action. We're seeing more Bitcoin ETFs being approved, which means you can invest in Bitcoin through your regular brokerage account. No need to mess around with complicated wallets or exchanges. It's as easy as buying a stock. Chapter 4: The World on Edge. Bitcoin's time to shine. Let's be honest, the world is a pretty unpredictable place right now. We've got geopolitical tensions, trade wars, and who knows what else is brewing. And historically, Bitcoin has thrived in times of uncertainty. It's like the ultimate safe haven asset for the digital age. Think about it. Bitcoin is decentralized. It's not controlled by any government or institution. So, when things start to get crazy in the world, people lose faith in traditional systems. They want something that's stable, secure, and outside the control of governments. And that's exactly what Bitcoin offers. We saw this happen during the Greek debt crisis, the Cyprus banking crisis, and even during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Whenever there's fear and uncertainty in the air, people turn to Bitcoin. And with Trump back in the White House, we could see a lot more of that happening. Chapter 5: From Skeptic to Supporter. Now, I know what you're thinking. Trump hasn't always been the biggest fan of Bitcoin. He's called it a scam, said it's not real money, and even suggested that it should be regulated out of existence. But here's the thing: people change. And more importantly, politicians change their minds when they see an opportunity. Trump is a businessman at heart. He understands the power of innovation, and he's always looking for ways to boost the American economy. And the reality is, Bitcoin and blockchain technology have the potential to create jobs, attract investment, and make the US a leader in the global digital economy. So, don't be surprised if Trump softens his stance on Bitcoin in the coming years. He might even come out in full support of it, especially if he sees it as a way to stick it to China or undermine the global dominance of the US dollar. Stranger things have happened. Chapter 6. The Halving Bitcoin's Price Rocket Fuel. Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Bitcoin halving. This is a big one, people. Every 4 years or so, the rate at which new Bitcoins are created gets cut in half. It's like a built-in supply shock that's designed to make Bitcoin more scarce over time. And guess what? The next halving is scheduled for 2024, right in the middle of Trump's potential second term. Historically, Bitcoin's price has skyrocketed in the months leading up to and following a halving. We're talking potentially exponential growth. Now imagine this. Trump's policies are in full swing, inflation is running hot, the dollar is weakening, institutions are pouring money into Bitcoin, and then bam! The halving hits. It's like throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. The stars could align perfectly for Bitcoin to absolutely explode in value. The $150,000 Bitcoin question. So, there you have it. Trump's presidency could create the perfect storm for Bitcoin to thrive. Inflation, dollar weakness, institutional adoption, and geopolitical uncertainty. While no one can predict the future with certainty, the stars might just align for Bitcoin to reach that $150,000 milestone under his leadership. What do you think? Could Trump's policies fuel a Bitcoin boom? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the future of finance and cryptocurrency. Stay tuned for more updates on Bitcoin, crypto, and the global economy.